All right. Thank you very much. This is the story of the wise woman of Abel Beth Maachah. Some of you may know this story. It's an obscure story. Abel Beth Maachah was a city in the north of Israel. Archaeologists have found it. It was actually quite densely populated, well built urban center with many little small cities around it. This story takes place during a troubled time in the kingdom. Of David's kingdom has been racked by civil war. He's lost his throne to his son Absalom in a rebellion. But David defeats the rebels and returns to his kingdom. But one man stands against him, Sheba, the son of Bichri, and he leads the northern tribes out and says, "We don't have any inheritance in the kingdom of David." Now, David understands that Sheba is as dangerous to him as Absalom. So he sends his men after him, and they chase him all the way to this city, Abel Beth Maachah. At the head of David's army is Joab. Joab is actually David's nephew, the son of his sister Zeruiah. He was the commander of David's army for more than 30 years, an excellent military strategist, but he was also unpredictable, unruly. Many years earlier, when David had made an alliance with Saul's commander Abner, Joab murdered him out of vengeance. David said at the time, "These sons of Zeruiah are too hard for me." So even the great warrior King David thought twice about crossing Joab. In the chapter previous to this one, Joab killed Absalom, David's son, against David's orders. And when David wept for Absalom, Joab rebuked him. David listened, but he also fired Joab and placed a man from the rebels in charge of his army as a way of building bridges. But just a few verses before our story begins, Joab killed that man too. He greeted him as a brother, and then he cruelly stabbed him, leaving it on the side of the road, no burial. This is the man that the wise woman of Abel Beth Maachah must now confront. He's brought his army. He's chased the enemy of the king all the way to her door. And now our story begins. And they came and besieged him in Abel of Beth Maachah. And they cast up a bank against the city, and it stood in the trench. And all the people that were with Joab battered the wall to throw it down. Then cried a wise woman out of the city, "Hear, hear, say, I pray you, unto Joab, come near hither, that I may speak with thee." And when he was come near unto her, the woman said, "Art thou Joab?" And he answered, "I am he." Then she said unto him, "Hear the words of thine handmaid." And he answered, "I do hear." And then she spake, saying, "They were wont to speak in old times, saying, They shall surely ask counsel at Abel. And so they ended the matter. I am one of them that are peaceable and faithful in Israel. Thou seekest to destroy a mother in Israel. Why wilt thou swallow up the inheritance of the Lord?" And Joab answered and said, Far be it from me that I should swallow up or destroy. The matter is not so, but a man of Mount Ephraim, Sheba the son of Bichri by name, hath lifted up his hand against the king, even against David. Deliver him only, and I will depart from the city. And the woman said unto Joab, Behold, his head shall be thrown to thee over the wall. Then the woman went unto all the people in her wisdom, and they cut off the head of Sheba the son of Bichri, and cast it out to Joab. And he blew a trumpet, and they retired from the city, every man to his tent. And Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king. Now this woman, as we read, is faithful and peaceable in Israel. Her faith makes her a confident leader. Though the armies were battering the walls, she takes control of the situation. She calls out from the wall as a person who is used to giving orders and having them obeyed. By asking for Joab, she has made it clear that she is the leader representing the city and will only deal with someone of equal rank. She also lets him know that she knows who Joab is, though he does not know her, which gives her the advantage. When he arrives at the wall, she asks, Are you Joab? This also is a bit of a strategic move, I think. It's like saying, you're this Joab I've heard so much about? It kind of brings him down. He admits, yeah, I am the Joab. And she says, here, your handmaid, which is a way of humbling herself. She's just come out by herself, and her presence is so commanding that the armies have stopped their siege work, and the commander of the army has come to listen to her. Everyone knows that she is no handmaid. But by saying this, she brings it down to his level and doesn't cause any anger. She begins by telling him about the city he's so flagrantly attacking. In the old days, the people would go there to get judgments in their disputes. Joab has come and started attacking it without offering peace, which is against the commandment of Deuteronomy 20:10 to offer peace before attacking a city. As she continues, she tells him this place is a mother in Israel. This refers to a city that's large and has smaller satellite cities around it. The large city is a mother. This is an important place, important to the nation of Israel. And she says this city is part of the inheritance of the Lord. This brings in the idea of Israel's covenant. Now Joab is on the defense. He's attacking God's children. She's brought in the moral element. They are peaceable and faithful. Joab is not. She also identifies herself with the city. Many commentators are not sure when she says a mother in Israel, whether she's talking about herself or the city. But this is useful for her, because for him to attack the city now is to attack her, which is beneath his honor as a man of Israel, a man of war. This woman speaks like a prophet, with authority. At the same time, she's not a prophet, and she uses her rhetoric masterfully. She starts off with a compliment. Where is Joab? She's heard of him. He's a legend. Where is this man? Then when he comes, she slowly starts to work him down. You're Joab? Really? Then she lays the charges. Why are you attacking this city? A national treasure of Israel. Why are you attacking the Lord's inheritance? Joab is immediately on the defense. Far be it from me. Far be it from me. She says it twice. This is similar to saying, God forbid. He immediately puts the responsibility on Sheba. Oh, a rebel has raised his hands against the king and fled here. Give him to me and I'll spare this place. Joab is no fool. He knows she's right. For him to destroy this place is a great loss to Israel. And the woman is no fool either. She knows she's in control, but she also knows that she should not anger Joab, whose reputation has preceded him. She immediately decides that an enemy of David is an enemy of her city as well. And she promises Sheba's head will be thrown out over the wall. When this is done, the conflict is over. Joab has completed his mission and returns to the king's side. He resumes his position as commander of the army. The wise woman has saved her city, and the Bible praises her for her wisdom. The wise woman succeeds because of her faith. Though the most dangerous man in Israel is trying to break down the walls of her city, she walks up full of confidence. She knows God is with her, and she tells her enemy that as well. Many people these days try to put down the Bible as patriarchal. This word, patriarchal, is very loaded. It seems to imply that women are oppressed. But anthropologists have used the term for a long time just to refer to a society where men lead. But this society is not one where women are oppressed. This woman is a leader of her city. She's well respected. And she commands the respect of the greatest soldier in all of Israel. With the armies of Israel at her gates, the people of this city do not send their army men. They do not send their generals. They send this woman by herself, and she gets the job done. They trust her to get the job done. Actually, it is the Bible that teaches us to treat women as equals. The Hebrews were patriarchal, but that does not mean they oppressed women. Women were loved and treated with respect, as this story shows. They could attain high office, as this woman did. What matters is not whether you are strong or a man. What matters is not who you are, but your faith in God. Of course, Christianity has raised the status of women all over the world. It's Christianity that made divorce, polygamy, incest, and female infanticide morally unacceptable, first in Rome and then all around the world. It is Christianity that teaches that women are made in the image of God. Though they may be weaker physically, they are not weaker spiritually, which is where our real strength lies. It is this cultural environment of equality between men and women that led to the birth of feminism. Does anybody think that feminism would have arose if Islam had taken over the world? It is this high view of women that allowed the wise woman of Abel Beth Maachah to make her heroic stand against Joab. It is questionable whether these words would have been as effective coming from a man. They would be perceived as a challenge to Joab's authority. A man would get his back up and get angry. But with a woman saying it, he feels shamed. Immediately he's apologizing. He's trying to shift the blame to Sheba. Sometimes the weak and vulnerable are stronger than mighty armies when God is on their side. As we know, God's strength is made perfect in weakness. Our strength is made perfect in weakness as well. Sometimes you may be attacked just for being peaceful and faithful to Christ. You start telling someone about Jesus and they say, I hate Christians, you're all a bunch of bigots. Well, like this woman, you must stand your ground. Have faith in God. He will protect you from all the armies of the world. Nowadays, we have a different enemy at the gates. COVID-19 is causing us to be ruled by fear. Now we cower behind our gates. We cower in our homes away from this virus, just as the people of Abel Beth Maachah did. We can't leave our gates with an army of enemies outside, just as they were. But like the wise woman of Abel Beth Maachah, we must be bold in the faith. We should not be foolish and leave the safety of our walls, but we must continue to proclaim our faith from the walls, and God will defeat our enemies and bring back peace to the land. Thank you.